Hi guys, Darth Nihilus here with another video, and today I think it's time to do our top 10 Black Series of this year being 2020. Now, of course, 2020 has been a rough year for most of us, but one of the good things that came out of this year is Black Series has been really good. I think arguably you could say it's been one of, if not the best year for the Black Series 6-inch line. We've gotten a lot of really good stuff. We've had the red and black packaging finally retired for the most part, with a new packaging that I really like the look of. We've gotten a bunch of different sublines, most notably, and my favorite of the sublines being the Gaming Greats. But there's also others like the credit collection for the Mandalorian and the 40th anniversary stuff for Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, this is my countdown of my favorite Black Series figures of 2020. The rules are pretty simple. It has to come out in 2020 or super late in 2019, where it basically would count as a 2020 release. It's probably intended to be released in 2020. I don't think anything here counts as that this time around, but sometimes that happens. I have to own it. I have to like it, obviously. And I'm not including the Black Series wave that has the new Mandalorian figures, like the Queel, the Grief Karga, and the Moff Gideon, because those things I'm fairly certain I'm not going to be able to get my hands on those until next year. I'm going to probably count those as a next year release, and I think right now only people who are getting really lucky getting them early are getting them right now, so those ones don't count. Otherwise you'd probably see like most of those figures on this list. Anyways, right in front of you here, there's 3 figures. These are my 3 honorable mentions for this year. We have the Knight of Ren, or Vikral. We have the Gaming Greats Purge Trooper, and we have the Kit Fisto figure. I'm not going to talk about these guys too much, but the Knight of Ren's a really nice figure. Great articulation, looks fantastic, good accessories. It's just not, and he's a cool looking character, but there's not much of a character actually there. I feel like he'd be a lot cooler with other Knights of Ren figures made, and he comes from a arguably my least favorite Star Wars movie, so but he's still a cool figure, so I wanted to mention him. The Gaming Greats Purge Trooper, I never got the original release with the red pauldron and the red markings. This one's pretty cool. It has the more black standard trooper markings. I love that Airborne Trooper helmet, and he comes with the new Electro Staff, but again, it uses an old clone body mold. It is technically a repaint, and the new Electro Staff is cool, but those electro effects do not stay on the staff. Basically, when you move it, they slide off. And the figure I thought would have made my list, but actually didn't, he would have been number 11, is the Kit Fisto. One of my favorite prequel Jedi. I'm super happy we're getting more of the prequel characters in Jedi, to be specific. And more aliens, and they really did a good job on this figure. The head sculpt with the paint on it is really good, but there's just some things that bring the figure down for me. He doesn't come with a soft goods robe. Something that doesn't bother me really at all, but it is worth noting, is he comes with the inaccurate lightsaber hilt, and he also reuses the Phantom Menace Obi-Wan body, which isn't terrible and looks perfectly fine, but it has weird hip joints that aren't terrible, but don't move as well as pretty much every other figure in the line. So that's why these guys are here on my honorable mentions, but still solid figures, and there are even more solid figures that came out this year. Anyways, let's move on to number 10. So at number 10, we have the Kit Fisto Wavemate. This is Plo Koon. He's, again, one of my favorite prequel era Jedi. He was awesome in the Clone Wars. And here we get his how he looked in Attack of the Clones. And I think just in general, it's a bit better executed than the Kit Fisto. Again, you have an awesome head sculpt, a great sculpt on the hands. He has a more accurate lightsaber. He actually comes with a soft goods robe, which I'm not actually a huge fan of how they did it, but he still at least comes with one. And he reuses a better body. He reuses the Mace Windu body that has better articulation in it and looks good for the character. So I think he's just an overall better done figure than the Kit Fisto one is. Again, not to detract that, say Kit Fisto was bad, but I really like how they did this one. They really did a good job. and I'm super happy getting more aliens and more Jedi in the collection. Anyways, he's number 10. Let's go on to number 9. And at number 9, we have a deluxe release. I can't remember if we had more than one deluxe release this year. This is the only one I think that I picked up that I can remember. But it is Zeb Orrelios from Star Wars Rebels. And he is the last character we needed to be made in the Black Series line to complete the Ghost Crew. They re-released all of them with face printing if they didn't already have it. I'm still missing Ezra. I need to get Ezra to finish the Ghost Crew, otherwise I have the whole gang. But Zeb's a really cool one. He's a deluxe release. Probably didn't have to be a deluxe release, you know. He's not like any bigger or much bigger than like a Chewbacca figure, and they single pack him. So I think they could have single packed this one if they really wanted to. Obviously they didn't. But you got a lot of cool stuff here. You got some different engineering in the legs because you got those weird alien looking legs. All new sculpt like most Black Series figures. Excellent paint and detail going on. He's got that really cool bow rifle, which has removable electric effects, and you can have it in the rifle configuration or the staff configuration, and you can store it on his back. A lot of really cool things going on with this figure. Yeah, just a really nice addition that we finally got. And he is number 9. And moving on to number 8. Now at number 8, we have a character from The Mandalorian. It is, of course, the armor. I think the first moment that we all saw the armor on screen, we wanted a figure of her. And Ezra did a really good job here. There's also an exclusive version, and you can count the exclusive version in this spot as well. Don't have it, don't plan to get it. This is just the standard release. But yeah, lots of good stuff going here. She has her tongs and her hammer. The tongs can actually hold stuff. I have the SH Figure Arts Beskar pauldron securely clipped into the tongs there, which is really cool. Sculpt and paint, just really good. The helmet looks pretty nice. It's a decent shape. Like, it's not weirdly shaped like the Mandalorian himself's helmet is an odd shape. Armor looks a lot better. Articulation's pretty good. I don't have too many complaints with this one. It's really well done. That paint on the fur there, if you have the standard release, is really well done as well. Just a really solid figure that every Mandalorian fan should probably get. Anyways, that is number 8. Now moving on to number 7. Now number 7 is a figure that I think a lot of people are putting at the number 1 spot on their lists. And if I was taking an objective look at this year with the Black Series figures, it probably would be number 1 or really close to it. But for me, this is number 7. It is the Hoth Rebel Trooper, released in the 40th ESB 40th line first, and then got a standard release as well. Surprisingly, still easy to get. You can easily still get this guy at retail, which is surprising. I thought it'd be harder to get, but it's not. But this is probably one of the best army builders I've ever seen. This is also my favorite look, or one of my favorite looks for the Rebel Troopers. And we get a whole new sculpted figure. We get 2 blasters. One is a completely new sculpt. We finally get this larger Rebel rifle, which is really cool. The sculpted detail and paint is really nice. And then articulation solid. And the accessories, aside from the guns, is you get a bunch of basically different configurations you can make this guy look. So a bunch of your different troopers, if you decide to get more of them, can all look a little different. You have different ways you can put the face scarf either on it, over his face, draped down, completely off. You can have the goggles on or off. Backpack actually stores an interchangeable faceplate, so you have 2 different faces you can use. Just the ideas that they put into this figure were really executed well. And I hope they do similar things with other army builders because they did a really good job with this one. Very smart ways to do army building. That is number 7. Moving on to number 6. At number 6, I'm cheating just a little bit. It's 2 figures, but they're technically still the same figure. It is the Mandalorian Incinerator Stormtrooper / the standard Imperial Stormtrooper. So this year we finally got a new Stormtrooper mold, completely new Stormtrooper mold. The old one, definitely not terrible, but there are definitely things wrong with it. It didn't look like a guy in a suit of armor from a proportional standpoint. The helmet never looked awful to me, but it was definitely off. And these ones I had my doubts with when seeing pictures of them and even when seeing reviews, but having them in hand, these are just infinitely better. The proportions are fantastic. The articulation is the same, if not improved, with the pinless single hinge joints. The Incinerator Trooper specifically has that awesome pauldron backpack and flamethrower configuration with the awesome flame effect. We don't get a ton of effects with our Black Series figures. And those red markings look very striking, look super awesome. Helmet sculpt, much improved. I still don't think it's 100% perfect, but it's a lot better. This is a really good figure. I have 2 of the standard white troopers and I have 1 of the Incineration Trooper. I would definitely pick up another Incinerator Trooper if I ever found one in stores. I'd definitely pick up more Stormtroopers if I found them as well, because they are really good figures. And anyways, that is number 6. And now we're moving on to the top 5. So now, starting us off with our top 5, we have the number 5 spot, which is Commander Bly. And another clone trooper, another clone commander. We've gotten a few of them now. Really happy they made Bly. I've always been a fan of him, and they did a really good job with this one. He uses the Rex mold, which is like some slight remolding or retooling with the old clone trooper mold. And I think they could have kept using it. They would just completely retire the old clone mold and just use the updated Rex mold. I don't think they had to make a new clone trooper mold. I don't have any of those new clones yet. They've been a bit elusive for me to find. So maybe if I get it in hand, I'll like it a lot more. But I mean, I think the Phase 2 helmets look awful on them. I think this is where it's at. This guy is really good. He's a bunch of paint, a lot of good paint. He's got some weathering on him. Nice accessories. He's got the rifle and the pistols. Soft goods, lower camo. He's got the movable, adjustable binoculars or macro binoculars or whatever they're called. And the head helmet sculpt itself, I think, looks super good. Like, I think you'd be hard pressed to have a better Phase 2 head sculpt. This thing looks really good. I have like barely any complaints about this figure because it uses the Rex mold. It has the upgraded elbow articulation, so they bend a lot farther than 90. They don't have the weird hip gaps. Just a super solid figure. Definitely one of my favorite Black Series clone troopers. Anyways, that's number 5. Moving on to number 4. And at number 4, we have the Gaming Greats Darth Nihilus. This was a figure I was super excited that was coming out and that was announced. I didn't think we'd ever get Darth Nihilus in the 6-inch line. The 3 3/4-inch one is a grail of mine, and I have it, which I'm really happy with. And Darth Nihilus is one of my favorite Sith Lords, one of my favorite EU characters. So the fact that you got a Black Series 6-inch figure at all, I think, is just crazy, and just is how much I like the Gaming Greats, because the Gaming Greats allows for the potential for more expanded universe Legends characters. But this figure is not perfect. If he was a lot better, he probably would have been number 1. But even though I love the character a lot, I had to put him at number 4, which was being generous, honestly, because there's things that this figure does that I'm just not a fan of. It reuses the Darth Maul body, which is all the way from the first wave of Black Series. So you know a figure from 2013 is going to be dated, and it is. Now, this figure is not complete reuse. We do have some new stuff. He's got a new soft goods cape. The new head sculpt is really good. He has new upper arms. He has this new rubber lower robe piece, and he has a new lightsaber. So there's a decent amount of new tooling here, but it's not enough. What I actually ended up doing is, because Darth Nihilus is supposed to be a taller character, and the Darth Maul legs just aren't that good. They didn't want to go all the way straight. They want to splay out. They're not tall enough. So I actually took spare Kylo Ren legs, and I actually put them on this figure, and I think it helps a lot better. It gives them a little more height. The articulation just is a little bit better. But the fact that I have to do that to get the figure to a standard that I like is something I shouldn't have to do. It took considerable modding on my part for someone who is not super good at modding to do that. So that's why he's only at number 4. But even regardless, it's still awesome figure. Awesome that we got this. And being a big Sith fan, I just had to have this one. And at number 3, we have the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. Now, this could have easily been number 1, but I felt like the next 2 spots deserved to be higher than this guy. But I am absolutely love. We got a new Darth Vader that is really more closely to how he normally looks, kind of the contemporary or the standard look for him. We have obviously the New Hope one, which was an excellent figure, and we had the not so excellent removable helmet figure. But this one does everything good. You have excellent soft goods. The cape is really nice, drapes really nicely over him. The robes are really nice looking. All the sculpting is good. He actually does a lot more new sculpt than I thought he would. I thought he'd reuse a lot from the A New Hope Vader, but he doesn't. He uses the legs still, but he has a new torso, new arms. So that's new tooling than I was expecting. He has enhanced range of movement in the elbows from the A New Hope one. They move further than 90. The other one only moved to 90. He has the armor over the robes, which I prefer, and he has the black colored lenses instead of the brown or reddish colored lenses. I never understand Hasbro's obsession with giving the Vader figures the red or brownish eyes. I know they're trying to go for that A New Hope look where the lenses are kind of transparent in certain light. And I think that's okay if you're for A New Hope figures, Darth Vader figures, but they don't need to be on every single Vader figure. So I'm super happy we finally got a Vader that has the black lenses on the helmet. And this figure is just awesome. It's definitely the best Darth Vader in the Black Series. If you don't have a Vader yet, if you're just new to the line, then just get this one. You don't have to get any more. Anyways, that's number 3. Moving on to number 2. And number 2 is a figure we've needed in the Black Series 6-inch line for a long time. We've had Darth Maul, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader for years now, but we've been missing the last film Sith Lord for years, and we finally got him. It is the Count Dooku figure. They did an excellent job on this. I am glad they waited until they had the face print tech, because this figure wouldn't have been nearly as good with just the old painted face they used to do. With that face printing, he has an excellent likeness to Christopher Lee. He's got an awesome lightsaber, and they gave him this cool lightsaber blade swooshing effect, which I hope they do more of. The soft goods cape, two-toned cape, is really nice and drapes well over the figure and also can fold over his shoulders quite well. He's got great articulation. He's got good height and presence on the shelf, and I also really like that you can actually put the Deluxe Emperor Palpatine lightning hands on this figure to give him the lightning if you so choose. Just an absolutely excellent figure of an awesome Sith Lord. Anyways, that being said, we're now moving on to a number 1. And number 1 is, of course, the Star Wars, the Clone Wars Cad Bane. Another character I honestly did not expect to get in the Black Series anytime soon, if at all, but we're starting to get more Clone Wars characters, and Cad Bane is an excellent choice. One of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars, one of my favorite bounty hunters. I'm a big fan of old spaghetti westerns and western movies and whatnot, and he's based off of Lee Van Cleef, who is a legendary western actor. And this guy's just badass. I love his voice. I love just the attitude he has in the show, and his design's awesome because he's got the gunslinger kind of look with the holsters and the gun belt, or the bullet belts simulated there. He's got the gauntlets, very Mandalorian-esque like, and then the trench coat with the big, or the duster rather, with the big hat. And this figure's done really well. Excellent sculpting and painting. There's actually a decent amount of wash and shade going on. You can remove the hat, and he has an absolutely awesome head sculpt. I love the grimace he's giving. Makes him look even more badass. He's got his pistols, which you can store in the holsters. He's got his jet boosters on his legs here. Articulation's pretty good as well. A little more range in the elbows would have been nice, but that's nitpicking at this point, because I think this is definitely one of the best that came out this year. Definitely my favorite. Anyways, that's all I got for you. This video has already taken longer than I probably would have liked, but if you stuck around for all of it, definitely thanks for watching. Let me know what your guys' favorite Black Series 6-inch figures were for this year. I'm always interested to know what you guys liked, because it's usually always different. Sometimes it's similar to mine, but it's usually always different, which is always cool. We all have different tastes, which is really awesome. Yeah, that's about it. Again, thank you guys for watching. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you all in the next one.